Yo, what's going on, everybody? So the following clip that you guys are about to hear is from the 5 Kage Summit podcast, episode number 2. And this time joining me on the podcast is going to be Eternal Hokage, one of the most underrated Naruto/Boruto YouTubers that we have in the community. If you have not subscribed to him, I highly recommend doing so. It's been really fun to watch him grow as a creator over the last couple of years. Now, before we get into the clip, I get this question a lot. People ask me, hey, how can I listen to the whole podcast? Do you have it somewhere else or is it just on YouTube? For right now, I only have this podcast on YouTube, but I am working on getting it onto other platforms. The other thing is, if you want to listen to the full podcast when it goes up, check the 5 Kage Summit playlist that I have in the playlist tab on my channel. Right now, only episode 1 is up, but the moment episode 2 gets finished, I'll upload the full episode 2 to that playlist on the channel. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this snippet of the podcast. Why do you personally feel that the Boruto community right now is so split, where it's Naruto fans against the Boruto fans?
We can all agree that Naruto ended not in the best way. It left a lot of people salty. A lot of people weren't happy about the whole Zetsu Madara thing. People weren't happy about Kaguya. And overall, the execution of the final arc and the final arc itself is the reason why we as fans cannot say that Naruto is a masterpiece. Because I personally strongly believe that up until that point, it was truly a masterpiece. But then a bunch of problems happened in that arc. So naturally, when you finish a series on a low, quote unquote, because the war arc still had good moments, well, it's not really natural, but I feel like subconsciously a lot of people go into Boruto with a pretty negative mindset. So I would say that's like one of the main reasons. Boruto as a character, he's very, like, I'd say unique. He doesn't have like a typical shonen goal. I want to be the best Hokage, the best pirate, or whatever. It's just something about characters who don't, I guess, scream out their goal every episode. But it's also when you have a character that's not so transparent about his goals and stuff like that. I would say maybe a little bit. You have to read between the lines because it's not so obvious. That's why I think that both Ichigo and Boruto get hate. But I don't want to get too specific yet. I want to hear if you agree with me on this. Do you think that the way Naruto ended affects it at all?
I think that there's some truth in that. And I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, for me, and we like how we talked off stream. Like, for me, I was not happy. It wasn't the pairing thing. I know some people accuse me of that because I've done what ifs for Sakura and Hinata, but it's like, for me, the ending, I wasn't happy with how he got it because we were announced like 5 weeks before the manga ended that the manga was ending in 5 weeks, and we were getting spoiled with Naruto the Last with all those commercials and everything. And like, so for me, when the Boruto movie was announced, and when they announced the Naruto New Era project and said that Boruto would cap off the New Era project with the movie, I was already skeptical of just going into the movie. So I sat down and watched the movie. I went into it with the mentality, I'm gonna hate this fucking show because I don't like the way that it ended, and I hated Naruto the Last. So like, the goodwill was like at an all-time low for me. And I walked out of that movie and I was genuinely saying, if we never get anything else, I'm happy with how it ended, with that father-son fist bump and the revelation that Orochimaru has a son in Konoha. When it went there, I was okay with it. But then when it went to the manga and the anime and the manga, like in 2016, was like, oh, Naruto might be dead, I was legit like, I'm so fucking done with this series. So I think what Eternal said is true. Like, there is some resentment left over from the Naruto series before you even get into the Boruto content.
But and as a whole, the Boruto series introduces like these like real life struggles. I mean, even like some of these like slice of life episodes in the anime which focus on side characters. We had that episode with that guy who wanted to, I forgot his name, he wanted to commit suicide. So, you know, the Boruto anime touched on suicide, it touched on depression. Even the latest Boruto episode with Enko feeling lonely and you know, being depressed. I like these subtle things that the Boruto series does. Some of these concepts aren't so spectacular. You know, Boruto's character, it's not so directly in your face, you know, what his motivation is, like Naruto was with becoming the Hokage and all that. But the series tries these like realistic concepts.
And I mean, let's be real for a second. Like, I think part of the reason why Boruto is as polarizing as it is just like with Bleach, because I lived through the Big Three era. Okay, like I lived through it. I watched Bleach come out and explode. I watched One Piece when Marineford, when Annie's Lobbies came out. One Piece started like popping in the U.S., but then I watched it like blow up when Marineford was going on. I didn't read it. I was aware of it though, and I watched like the Naruto explosion. I started reading Naruto in 2002. Like when you had bad scanlations online, like
Oh wow, yeah.
like the thing is, like I lived through that Big Three era, and people consistently said that Bleach was the worst of the Big Three, and I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna read it. And a friend of mine finally got me to sit down and read the manga. Like he said, read volume 1, and if you like it, I'll give you my iTunes password, and you can watch the first 13 episodes of anime. And you tell me what you think. And like literally, it took me a minute with Bleach, and then like right when Byakuya showed up, that's when I was like, oh shit, I think I'm starting to like this shit. But Ichigo didn't follow the typical shonen tropes. Like he wasn't super loud, he didn't have he wasn't a complete underdog, and he didn't follow all the tropes that you see with Deku and with Asta and with Naruto and is a few of the others. Like he didn't completely follow those, and it's just like Boruto's in that same vein. He doesn't completely follow those elements, and like when the anime tries to make him into an underdog or make him like a little miniature Naruto ripoff, for me it feels OOC. It feels out of character.
Okay, that's a fair point. At times, I can see that point. At times, yeah, it does feel so. I would personally still say that his more goofy side is coming out because there's no tension / conflict in the Boruto anime at the moment, at least major conflict. There's still stuff going on, especially recently with Urashiki. But yeah, at times I will concede that. At times it might feel out of character. But overall, I feel like his character is done well. And I remember when I got into Bleach for the first time, seeing Ichigo being different, I guess, than the usual protagonist in Shonen, it was so refreshing to me, man. Like I really liked him because of that. But it seems as though some people are like me and you, think that this is refreshing, this is different, it's cool. And then the other portion of people are like, he's trash or whatever. He doesn't have a goal. He disrespects Naruto. He's trash, this and that. There's a divide there. I feel like, and I don't know if you noticed this, it's much better nowadays than it was in like 2018. In 2018, especially early 2018, before the versus Momoshiki arc, I feel like a lot less people liked his character. And now with the manga and with people noticing these like subtle character changes, I feel like less people hate him now, but it's still not good. He still has a lot of haters, especially when you consider how much effort is put into his character and these micro character development moments, man.